Welcome back. The South Dakota men's basketball team picked up 2 key road wins over a tough travel stretch this past weekend, defeating Western Illinois on Thursday and getting revenge at NDSU on Saturday. The defeat of the Bison brings head coach Craig Smith's team to a 20-6 record on the year with 4 league games remaining. And the Coyotes moved up to number 6 in the College Insider Mid-Major Coaches Poll. For more on last week's games and the schedule ahead, here's Jay Elsen with Coach Smith in Vermilion.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Well, Craig, last week we sat in this gym and you said going into the Western Illinois game, if we're not ready to play, then we don't have the team that we thought we had. Well, you come out, put it on the Leatherneck's pretty good, and I got to imagine you feel a little bit better about things coming off that loss to Denver.
Yeah, I mean, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are, and certainly the week before we had one of our best games of the year against South Dakota State, and then our worst game of the year against Denver. And going into Western Illinois, obviously I felt like we'd be ready to play. Our guys have always shown that ability to bounce back after disappointing losses, and we had a good week of practice. And I know every coach always says it, it's cliche-ish and all that, but it's been very, very true with this team. When we practice well, we play well. And it's not an exact science. It's not rocket science to figure that out. But our guys from the get-go had a great mentality, a great look to them. It's a long – there's no easy way to get to Macomb, so it was a 7.5-hour bus trip or whatever, and we broke that up. But we just had a great way about us last week, and it showed in that game.
You've played some rock fights. We've talked about that before with this team. For whatever reason, the matchup just gets ugly a lot of times, and this one wasn't so much like that. It was a little bit back and forth early on, but you guys had that big run to close the half, and that really kind of set the tone for the rest of the night.
We did. For whatever reason here, it's always a low-scoring game, and there it gets a little more up-tempo, but we did. It was kind of back and forth, both teams kind of feeling each other out and settling in, and then we put on a big-time run there about a little past midway through the first half, and a lot of that was transition baskets, some easy offensive rebound putbacks, and then our guys were really sharing the ball, moving the ball, and then the ability to put a big run on somebody, you have to get stops, and to be able to hold a team. I don't care if it's a junior high game, a high school game, a NEI game, a junior college game, whatever it might be. To hold a team under 30% is almost unheard of, and at the end of the day, our defense got back to where it needed to be.
From there, you moved on to Fargo for that rematch with North Dakota State. What a wild first half. I mean, at one point, you went scoreless for 5.5 minutes. You still went into the break up 20 points. That's crazy.
Well, you had the old Western Illinois, North Dakota State double. You play a night game at Western, and then you got to get to Fargo and play at 2:00, and that is as difficult as it gets, and being in this league for 4 years, I've never seen that trip, besides our women doing that earlier in the year. And North Dakota State traditionally, obviously a very, very good team, has a rich tradition. For us to get up the way we did, we were stuck on 18 for it felt like an eternity. And we had that bad little run there where we were solid on defense, but we were giving up some offensive rebounds, and then we just couldn't do anything right off it. Couldn't finish around the basket. I don't know. I think we missed like 8 chip shots right around the basket, but we didn't finish. But then we got out in transition. We started opening up the floor. Mooney started making some threes. I think Peterson made one in there. And now all of a sudden we really got rolling. And all of a sudden you look up and we're up 20, like on the snap of a finger. And that's a hard thing to do at any point in time, especially on the road.
And so the Bison, they'll come out, kind of flip the script on you in the second half. So what changed that was so significant?
It was a tale of two halves. I mean, the first half we were 7 for 12 from the 3, I believe, and they were 1 for 12 from the 3, and we were kind of doing everything. I thought that the first 5 minutes were big, and we couldn't score. I know we went scoreless there for quite a stretch early on. And they were able to get some easy baskets, and now all of a sudden it goes from 20 to 12, and they're at home, and they always put a big run on teams when they, if they get down like that, especially at home. And now they feel like they're in the game, and they were. And I thought watching the film, we certainly had so many breakdowns on the defensive end. Part of that was them. A lot of that was self-inflicted, just being able to concentrate and finish a game off. And we've struggled a little bit doing that at times. And so that's your effort and concentration level.
Well, they kind of kept chipping away, and then all of a sudden, with inside a minute to go, it's 70-68. About 30 seconds left, as a matter of fact. That's when Tyler Peterson knocked down one of the bigger shots of his career. But Matt Mooney deserved a fair amount of the credit for that play as well. So can you take us through that sequence and tell us why it was such a big play for Matt?
Yeah, it just went back and forth down the stretch, and I remember we called timeout. We were up 6. And Mooney misses a layup. I think Goo might have blocked it a little bit or deflected it, and then they come down and get a layup. And now instead of having an 8-point lead, it's 4, right? And so it goes back and forth. And the possession before, we call a play for Mooney, and he just missed a 3. It was wide open. So we came back with it, and Matt turned the corner. We were up 2. And there was 46 seconds left at the start of the possession, and we held it to about 8 on the shot clock. Matt turns the corner, and everybody in the gym knew who was getting the ball.
Yeah.
And they just all, came to Matt.
Yeah.
And Matt, I was really proud of Matt. Matt didn't force up a crazy shot.
Right.
Matt made the right play, and Matt really trusts Tyler Peterson. And Tyler was wide open on the right wing, and with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and Tyler rose up and with nothing but net.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for Tyler, obviously so happy for our team. That was a huge moment, certainly in the game. But there's no rest for the weary. We make that 3, and Paul Miller comes right down, and he was feeling it in that second half and throws in kind of a miracle behind the backboard. TP's all over him, and he just kind of wills it in. And so now you got to get into bounds, and they foul. And fortunately for us, we were able to make 1 out of 2 to win the game by 4.
Yeah, and Peterson, not only does he hit the 3, he hits 4 big free throws down the stretch to help you guys seal that game.
And got a big offensive rebound.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, in the end, clinches your second straight 21 season. So what's that mean to you guys?
Well, it's funny. One of the assistants said that. I didn't even think about that really until, because you just get so, next game up, right? And just always. But that's a pretty neat deal. That's, you come in here 4 years ago to turn this thing around, and USD's got a great tradition in Division II, and now we're building that thing, back up in Division I. Certainly the 20-win mark is kind of a cornerstone or a benchmark. Every year when you get to that point, you feel to have a great season. But we got a long way to go. We got 5 regular season games left, and then a conference tournament. I looked at it today. We have 26 days until the first, day of the conference tournament. And so that's what's exciting. I don't feel like we've come near to the level we can be at, but I do feel like we're still getting better. And I just know that we can get so much better here in the next 26 days.
Back at home Thursday against Fort Wayne. The Mastodons have won 3 out of their last 4. This is a team that seems to be finding its stride a bit.
They are. They're clearly playing a lot better basketball than when we played them a month ago. They're very, very talented. Bryson Scott is the second leading scorer in the league. John Concher is only a junior, and he's been a 2-time first-team All-League guy. And the Harrell kid can really, really shoot it. And those 3 guards are shooting the ball at a much higher level than they were a month ago, and they're more of a jump shooting team, and there's going to be ebbs and flows of a season. There's a reason they won at Indiana. Like, that's a difficult thing to do, and so they're immensely talented, and they're playing their best basketball of the year right now.
All right, well, good luck to you. We'll catch up again next week.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, thank you, Craig. Kelly, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jay. If you can't make it to Vermillion tonight, the game will be streaming live for free on GoYotes.com. We will also have highlights on tomorrow's Midco Sports Tonight. Next on the show, we'll switch over to NSIC women's hoops, specifically the 21-1 Augustana women. Head coach Dave Krauth joins us in studio to talk about his 5th ranked squad. Stay tuned.